Hey everybody, this is Leonard Lee, Executive Analyst at NextCurve, and I'm here in Maui for Snapdragon Tech Summit 2025, and I'm here with Don McGuire.
Hey, Leonard.
CMO, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Great. And you know what? I just want to start off by, number one, thanking the Qualcomm organization for inviting me out.
Absolutely.
Really
Glad to have you here.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's fantastic being here. And just so everyone knows, there's nothing like being here live to experience basically new experiences that Qualcomm is shaping for our digital future, right? Or you might even say it's the AI future, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right. But first off, maybe second, congratulations. This is like the 10th Snapdragon Summit,
10th
right?
Snapdragon Summit, yeah. I've been at all 10.
I've been to 3. So, yeah, I have.
Even the first one.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to catch up to you
No.
anytime soon.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then also 40 years of
40
Qualcomm.
years of Qualcomm.
That's incredible.
18 years of Snapdragon as a product.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Snapdragon's still we're still a teenager, though. Like, the product is a teenager.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like you've accomplished quite a bit, right? I mean,
a long way.
Yeah, long way, and congratulations on some of the achievements that you've
Thank
made.
you.
Kantar Global Z.
Yeah, Brand Z.
debuting at number
Yeah.
38, right?
Which is a really, really, there's all sorts of brand measurement lists out there.
Yeah.
There's Interbrand, there's the Future Brand Index and things. But what we're really excited about where we showed up and how we showed up on Brand Z, first of all, this first time Snapdragon as a brand has showed up on any list.
Yeah.
Qualcomm, the company, has showed up on more of the sort of enterprise value rated lists, right? Where they kind of just take your financial performance and that kind of thing. But this is the first time Snapdragon has shown up. And Brand Z tends to be more consumer brand focused. To show up number 1, fantastic. To show up at number 38, amazing. It's great. And it's really before we started to ramp our PC marketing efforts. So, it's really a credit to more of the partnerships and some other things. But, now that we've leaned into consumer advertising across, linear TV and streaming TV and out of home and more traditional advertising methods, I'm interested to see where we come in.
Well, Manchester United, you have F1, all these media partnerships. It's you know what? I've been following you guys and covering you guys for a long time, and it's quite honestly pretty amazing to see how you guys have taken the brand, right, and really elevated to the level that you guys have. And so, maybe you can share with our audience a little bit about the journey.
Sure.
And how you guys got to where you're today. And then later on in our discussion, I'd like to explore where you guys are taking things, because there are a lot of announcements here today. And by the way, I really loved Cristiano's vision keynote. That really resonated with me, just because NextCurve research has been, if you don't mind my plugging
Sure.
NextCurve, we've been pioneering research on edge computing, and Qualcomm, you guys have been an essential part of that journey just because of the technologies that you have.
Sure.
And the solutions that you've been bringing to the market in the mobile space. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so
okay, so literally, first, it's great to have an objective.
Yeah.
A clear objective. And, I have a clear objective, and my team has a clear objective from, my boss, our CEO, which is, I want Snapdragon to be a globally recognized consumer brand embedded in culture. And that's a great objective. That's a tall order, especially for a product that you can't really buy, on its own. And so, you can buy into the idea, you can buy into the technology and what it delivers. So that was a great objective, and also a very tall order and a big challenge. And so it's great to start with an objective. Too many things in the marketing world these days, when you kind of scratch your head and say, why did they do that? It's because they didn't have a very strong objective. And then from there, it's really all about creativity and storytelling. And it's not necessarily about money. Right? It's not, it's not just, I'm just going to go spend a bunch of money to get it in front of as many eyeballs as possibly can. Because you can do that. It may not resonate. I've never, had the unlimited budget. So it's been about creativity. It's been about relevance. You have to start with audience. you have to provide context, and then you have to make it relevant. And so I think the team has done a very good job of that. And every decision we make and every story that we tell, every piece of content we develop and deploy has that in mind. We've been smart. We've been efficient, and I talked about efficiency in my opening remarks, especially with our Man United partnership. It's paid dividends, and we're seeing the results.
Right. Obviously, the journey is really exciting. You do have the outcomes, but maybe if you can qualify what those objectives were.
Yeah, well, I mean, it starts with the master objective, which is make Snapdragon a globally recognized consumer brand, right? Embedded in culture. And so then it's like, okay, well, how do you do that? And where do you do that? And how do you connect with your audiences? And so it's really all about, okay, well, if that's what we want to do, how do we get people to understand? Because it's beyond awareness, right? It's just like you can drive awareness, but awareness without resonance or without affinity, right, it doesn't then create the outcomes that you want, which is more of the financial metrics, the results that then drive business. And then underneath that, okay, then what's the journey? How are we going to get there? And that's how we make decisions. Where does Snapdragon show up, right? And then how do we connect the dots for people around the role that Snapdragon plays in their sort of digital life? And we decided a long time ago that the way we're going to do that was by connecting ourselves to the experiences that the technology delivers that then connect to people's passions, right? So people are passionate about things like sports. So their favorite team, their favorite player, their favorite type of sport. They're passionate about art. They're passionate about music, photography. Those things people are passionate about. So we've organized ourselves around those passion points and the experiences that the technology delivers through the devices and the ecosystem of devices and with our brand partners. And that's how we build storytelling blocks to then go tell the story. And you see that come through in both regular advertising, like our back to school campaign that we're doing for Compute right now, where we're really zeroing in on battery life, that in your PC, which lets you then do more and create more and achieve more and not have to worry about, plugging in and finding a charger, to our partnerships with the likes of Man United, or Live Nation, or, some of the things we've done, to bridge music and sport and culture all together, like the launch we did with Kaleo and Manchester United to celebrate the season 2 jerseys that Adidas so brilliantly designed and put together. So it all sort of comes together, right? And with every touch point, it's really about focusing on outcomes, not just activity. And then, like I said, aligning audience with context and relevance, and that's how we build the bridge. If you have the recipe correct, the cake will rise. And so I use like baking references because I'm a big baker. So it's kind of my therapy. But
I had no idea.
I
had no idea.
I'll bake you something sometime. It's been challenging, but it's been fun, and we're on our way. Like we're not there by any means, but we're definitely on our way. And some of our milestones and some of our little sort of intersection points along the way are proving to be signs of positivity that we're moving in the right direction. Like we're doing the right things. And we also have to be able to test and learn and not be afraid to kind of try things and not have them work out, so that we learn from them and adjust. So.
Yeah, well, I was going to say you sound a lot like an architect, like a technical architect, but then now I think I envision you as a chef or a baker.
I mean, it is a recipe.
Well,
right?
I mean, that's what you're doing. I mean, for me, you guys have always been and still are a technology company, and to me, that's important.
And we always will be.
Right, and to be able to construct a brand off of technology is challenging. What you just outlined is actually pretty amazing. I mean, that is literally the taxonomy and architecture of how you build something like that.
I think a lot of tech companies struggle with that. A lot of companies that are technology first to make that bridge, right? And to connect the dots. But I think it's important. And but I think as a tech marketer, you have an additional challenge. Because your DNA as a company and the people that sort of create the opportunity for you is a lot different than like a CPG company, right? Where it's really all about brand and packaging and messaging,
Right.
new and improved, ultra, whatever it might be, because the underlying product oftentimes is commoditized.
Yeah.
Right? It's laundry detergent, or it's, pretzels, or whatever it is, and anybody can make a pretzel, right? So it's really the packaging and the ethos that you build around that makes someone want to buy this pretzel versus that pretzel.
Yeah.
For us, we have a great product. It does amazing things.
Yeah.
It changes people's lives. The exercise around that is a lot different than, trying to market Ultra Tide.
Right,
For example.
right.
And so it's a different exercise. I didn't come from a CPG background. I came from a product marketing background in tech.
Right.
Which probably gives me a little bit of an advantage as a CMO in tech, because you really have to understand your product.
Yeah, absolutely. And your products are actually quite complex, and the industry
complex, right?
is complex and very fluid and fast moving, right?
Now
you
of
guys are
engineers.
getting all of this AI stuff. So
Yeah.
But here, let's talk about technology really quickly, because obviously your technology and product roadmaps inform how you guys have to evolve your brand.
Right.
I assume I'm not putting
Well,
words in your
definitely
mouth.
how we evolve the story.
Right. So one of the things, I mean, this year I was particularly impressed with Cristiano's keynote. Going back to what I mentioned earlier, edge computing is an area that I've been researching for a very long time. He had a lot of chords with me in his presentation. And I'm just curious, what are some of these new pillars or trends in technology that are informing where you guys have arrived today? Because obviously you have a whole cornucopia of announcements that you've made in the past couple of days.
Yeah, well,
what are those things that are really shaping, have shaped where we've landed?
Right. If you look at Summit so far, right, we're in day 2.
Yeah.
Day 1 yesterday was really all about vision for where technology is headed, where sort of mobile technology is headed, and it revolved around these kind of pillars of personal AI, right, and what does that mean? Right? Because AI is just not AI, right? It's not the same, right? Everywhere. And then why is personal AI so important, right? And then where does personal AI live? Right? Because there's this, in the world of AI, which, to get a little bit geeky here for the moment, like everyone seems to be just focusing on like the data center and the cloud and the models, and they're big, and
Really?
and the training.
Really?
Well, if you look at the news cycles, right?
Yeah.
I know you're being facetious, but or sarcastic, but it's true. And really the opportunity, we believe, especially about when it comes to personal AI, is and data, right? Is that really the richness of data and the amount of data that's going to be generated is really going to be closer to where the human is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right? And that's where Snapdragon lives. Right? We live where humans live. Right? Our technology connects people, allows people to connect, to compute, right? To use tools to advance their agendas and their lives digitally and otherwise. And so this huge opportunity at the edge, right, is a real opportunity, and it's what a lot of people are missing, because if the data is close, if the data is where the human is, the human's at the edge. Right? And Snapdragon is where humans are. And so this whole idea of personal AI, which Chris and I talked about yesterday, and where it's headed, and with all the devices in your sort of personal space, which we've kind of, developed this idea and this terminology around, which is the ecosystem of you.
Yeah.
Right? It brings in that personalization. It brings in the different devices you may have in and around you, and then how these things interact with each other, and then how you move through your day. Yeah. That whole thing culminates into this idea of the ecosystem of you, personal AI, that's going to actually be useful for you, and how we are going to bring that to life, and we're going to help you, right, achieve whatever goals associated with that, or whatever objectives are. And so that was really yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's a really fresh take, and a reality check. It's a point of view that is insightful, because it's really based in reality and insight and behavior. And it's also like, I think, like a fresh take into where is the value going to be created for AI. And so it's an amazing place for us to be. And it's an amazing place for a product like Snapdragon to live. And so that was yesterday in Cristiano's keynote, as you mentioned. And, call it edge computing, call it edge AI, whatever you want to call it. The humans are here, right? They're creating a lot of data, right? They're in control, and which is key. And personal AI and AI that allows you to stay in control, right? And then they can utilize our technology to actually put that to use for them in a productive, meaningful way. And it's really where intelligence becomes useful in your everyday. And we showed, we like to call it the art of possible, right? We showed people moving through their days with a fluidity that currently may not exist without, personal AI, but we're not too far away from it, where it's not just about, deep, like linear use cases. It's more about moments.
Right.
That's what personal AI is going to do, right? It may be through glasses or earbuds or whatever, but you're going to have this, you're going to be walking along, and not only is it going to be prompt and response from you, but it's going to be ambient, and it's going to be, suggestive, and so it's going to see what you see, it's going to hear what you hear. So as you're walking through the park, it's going to probably bring things like I see Bob. Like, didn't you say you wanted to have lunch with Bob? Do you want me to schedule lunch with Bob? Oh, great. I'll send Bob a calendar invite, right? And so we showed a little bit of that yesterday, how someone can move through their day using different devices, gestures, speaking, natural language, eyesight. And it's no longer going to be tap, 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 tap. Right? Or stroke, 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 stroke. It's going to be super, super interactive, super natural, and, voice is going to become cool again, and things like that. So that's what we showed off yesterday. And that really is that's a validation of this idea of this opportunity at the edge.
Right.
And I think we've brought it to life in ways that nobody else has, and we've put it in perspective that nobody else has.
And I think it's important for the audience to understand a lot of what you've just described at the surface is compelling, but underneath the plumbing, the technology that needs to come together to enable that is complex. And I just have to say, you guys have that portfolio today, right? You're in the infrastructure. So, Cristiano, you talked about perceptive infrastructure, right? So, when you look at 5G, 6G,
network intelligence.
Then he also mentioned, this is something that I thought was really interesting, is this notion of changing computing models. That's really going to be a huge thing, I think, going forward. And then also he mentioned hybrid AI, distributed AI, and these new architectures. And you guys have been probably like first to market with putting all these emerging generative AI models of all varieties on device, right? And so you guys have been doing a lot of pioneering work, and so I just wanted to emphasize that it's not easy. It takes great engineering and a portfolio of technologies to make
and a belief, right? You have to kind of invest ahead of the curve a little bit sometimes. We've done that with generations of wireless technology, right? We started investing 10 years before the shift. So it's no different with AI, right? Sometimes you have to. As we said in some of our content yesterday, it's like we're doing stuff that you may not even know you need yet, right? But you will need it.
That's kind of like your guys' DNA.
It's
in a
always
way,
been.
Right?
I mean, we're such brilliant inventors, right? At Qualcomm, which is just amazing to be able to work with and represent. And then that parlayed itself into today. And we started with this great, very natural conversation between Cristiano and Shantanu. Shantanu brought up this idea of personal models, right? Like, I'm a creator, I have my personal model, it lives on device, it brings my portfolio together, but it's safe and it's private, it's my IP, right? And so they had that conversation, and they made it kind of real in the context of a creator. And then we went into the goods, right? Which is our product announcements for this week, where we announced our next generation mobile platform and our next generation PC compute platform.
Hey, Don, thanks a lot for taking us on this journey. I mean, I think you've done a great job of just kind of bridging the technology, all the great technology that Qualcomm has. Expansive, by the way. There's a thing called Dragon Wing that's taking you guys into new frontiers, right?
That's right. There's a whole portfolio outside Snapdragon.
Even though we're here to talk about Snapdragon.
This is Snapdragon.
But yeah.
But yeah, we can have another conversation about that.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And but bridging technology with to the vision that was represented yesterday in Cristiano's vision keynote. So again, there's nothing like being here, live at Snapdragon Summit, and really appreciate again the invitation and this time to chat with you because
absolutely.
Yeah, I've been wanting to have a conversation like this with you for quite some time, and hopefully we'll have a lot more, especially around.
No better place than Maui.
Yeah, right? I agree. Thank you so much, Don.
Thanks for having me, Leonard.
All right. And everyone, remember to follow NextCurve as well as Qualcomm.
And Snapdragon.
Yeah, Snapdragon, yes. And live from Snapdragon Summit 2025 here in Maui. This is NextCurve's Leonard Lee signing off with Don McGuire, CMO of Qualcomm. We'll see you next time.